Have you ever wondered what's really happening with New Zealand's population? Just a year ago, we saw a massive surge in immigration. A record-breaking 253,000 people arrived in 2023. It felt like the country was booming. Cities were expanding and new faces were everywhere. But fast forward to today and the picture looks completely different. It's like someone hit the brakes hard. This isn't just a small dip. It's a dramatic shift that's catching experts and communities by surprise. The latest figures from 2025 show a massive drop in arrivals. Well, it's a mix of things. The government has tightened immigration settings, making it tougher for people to come here. At the same time, the global economy is looking shaky, and the job market here isn't as hot as it used to be. Combine that with the classic Kiwi OE or overseas experience, which is seeing a lot of New Zealanders, especially young ones, heading abroad for better opportunities, and you've got a perfect storm. This slowdown isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's having real-world consequences. Think about the construction industry. A year ago, they were crying out for workers to build houses and infrastructure. Now, with fewer people arriving and projects slowing down, many of those jobs are disappearing. The same goes for sectors like hospitality and horticulture, which have long relied on migrant labor to fill essential roles. Suddenly, the conversation has shifted from how do we find enough workers to how do we keep the workers we have? And it's not just about jobs. Our population growth has slowed to a crawl, down to just 0.7%. For the first time in a while, natural increase, that is, births minus deaths, is playing a bigger role in our population growth than migration. But even that's not straightforward. New Zealand's fertility rate has been declining for years. We're simply not having as many babies as we used to. This creates a massive challenge, especially for our regions. While cities like Auckland might still see some growth, many smaller towns and rural areas are facing the very real prospect of stagnation or even population decline. Imagine a town where the school roll is shrinking, the local shops are struggling to stay open, and the community is getting older. This is the reality that many parts of New Zealand could be looking at. The dependency ratio is another key piece of the puzzle. This is the ratio of non-working people like children and retirees to the working-age population. With fewer babies being born and the baby boomer generation entering retirement, that ratio is getting skewed. We have a smaller group of working-age people trying to support a larger group of dependents. This puts immense pressure on our social services, our healthcare system, and our pension funds. The tax base shrinks, but the demand for services grows. How do we pay for it all? This isn't just a temporary blip. These are long-term demographic trends that have been building for decades. The pandemic and the subsequent policy shifts just accelerated everything and brought these issues into sharp focus. We're at a crossroads, and the decisions we make now will shape the future of New Zealand for generations to come. So, what can we do? This is a complex problem with no easy answers. We can't just flip a switch and turn immigration back on full blast, especially when the economy is fragile. But we also can't ignore the fact that we need people. We need skilled workers to drive innovation, we need people to care for our aging population, and we need new families to bring life and energy to our communities. One idea is to get much smarter about our immigration policy. Instead of just focusing on the numbers, maybe we should focus on the skills and attributes we need. We could create pathways for people who want to settle in the regions, offering incentives to live and work outside the main centers. This could help revitalize struggling towns and ensure a more balanced growth across the country. We also need to have a serious conversation about our own workforce. How can we better train and upskill New Zealanders to fill the jobs of the future? How can we encourage more young people to stay and build their careers here? And how can we support older workers to stay in the workforce longer if they want to? This means investing in education, apprenticeships, and lifelong learning. And what about the Māori population? The data shows a younger, faster-growing demographic. This is a huge asset for New Zealand. Empowering Māori communities and businesses and ensuring they have the resources to thrive is not just a matter of social justice, it's an economic imperative. A successful Māori economy is a successful New Zealand economy. Ultimately, we need a national population strategy. A long-term plan that looks at all these interconnected pieces: immigration, fertility, aging, regional development, and workforce planning. We can't keep lurching from one extreme to another, from an open-door policy to a near-total shutdown. This kind of volatility is damaging for businesses, for communities, and for the migrants themselves. We need a stable, predictable, and strategic approach that gives everyone confidence in the future. This requires bold leadership and a national conversation that goes beyond the heated rhetoric we often hear. It's about asking ourselves, what kind of country do we want to be in 20, 30, or 50 years? How many people do we want? And where do we want them to live? These are big questions, but we can't afford to ignore them any longer. The demographic clock is ticking. The sudden slump in migration is a wake-up call, a chance to rethink our approach and build a more sustainable and prosperous future for all New Zealanders. What do you think? Is this population slowdown a crisis or an opportunity? What should our government be doing right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you found this breakdown useful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the issues shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.